Okay, with the following question, they say, consider the following function. And then we are supposed to show using the necessary calculations that f can be written in the form of f of x. Ne? And then using examination skills, if we look at this question here, it's a little bit challenging. Ne? So we are allowed to skip the question. If you notice here, they say, write down the equation of the asymptote, given the following equation. So we can go straight there because we can see with these 2 marks that it's something that we are used to. It's not new. So we don't have to start with number 1. And then the nicest thing is that they said which we should show which this can be written as this, and then they give us this one, meaning which this and this, they are related to each other, which is the examination question. So we say we are going to have x is equaling to 2. Ne? Can it's minus 1?
X is 1.
So x is equaling to
1.
X is equaling to 1.
Yes.
The other one says
Y
x is y is going to be equal to what? Minus 2. So we get 1 and then we get 2.
Yeah, 4.1.
4.2. 4.2 this one. We've skipped 4.1 for now. As we prepare for writing our exam. The other thing that we can do, they say calculate the x-intercept. X-intercept, you calculate them exactly the same way. They say, calculate the intercepts of the graph of f with the axis.
Yes.
So they didn't say x or y intercept, they just said the intercepts. So it means we are talking about the y intercept, number 1, which says y is going to be equaling to, it's 3. Is it 3 or 2 there?
3. It's 3, sir.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 3 all over 0 minus 1. Minus 2.
Which is minus 5.
Which is minus 5.
Yes, there's no need for a calculator.
There's no need for a calculator.
No.
Okay. So we have minus 5.
Yes.
And then we tell them which we have.
0 is to minus
0
5.
is to minus 5. They will give us 1 mark for this one. And then the other one, we have x-intercept. X-intercept, we say we have 0, which is going to be 3 all over x minus 1 minus 2. Take this one to this other side. It says 2 is going to be equal to 3 all over x minus 1. And then we have 2 multiplied by x minus 1, which is going to be 3.
Yes.
Now we have 2 options, multiplication or division. And they're opposite of each other. So we divide. And then because we divided, let's check what are we going to have. We have x minus 1, which is going to be 3 all over 2. And then we take the one to this other side. It says x is going to be equal to 3 all over 2 as 1. And then you say, therefore, what is going to be x?
5 over 2.
It's 5 all over 2.
Or 2.5.
Or 2.5.
Yes.
So we have 5 all over 2. And then we have 0. So we have 1. We have 2. It's fine. So let's go to the sketching of the graph.
Yes.
So if we have to sketch the graph, we need to show the x-intercept. We need to show the asymptote. That's number 1. So what do you have as your asymptotes? You have 1 and minus 2. Let's start with 1. X is 1.
Yes.
Let's come to x is 1. X is 1. It's here. Yeah. And then you are going to draw a dotted line here. On x is 1.
True.
Other one we have y is minus 2. Is minus 2.
Minus 2, yes. Right.
So y is minus 2 here. We have a dotted line. Again. Sharp, no?
Sharp.
And then the next one, we want the x and the y intercept. Can do them with blue. X-intercept is 2.5. Positive or negative 2.5? Positive 2.5.
Yes.
So we expect it to be somewhere here in between. So this one is 2.5. Okay, sharp. And then we also have the y-intercept.
Minus 5.
What is the y-intercept?
Minus 5.
Minus 5. Yeah, if you know your graphs here, so you can simply draw them. I'm sure you have points. You have a point this side, and then you also have a point that side. If you know your graphs, yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If we're not provided a diagram sheet there, and then I decide to draw this thing this way, man, I wanted full marks.
Yes. Yeah. You will avoid the full marks. But let's do the right thing. Let's draw it on our. Let's get the shape. Ne? How is the shape going to look like? We go to our table. Let's just remind each other. Table 7. Can we have 3? Ne?
Yes.
It's 3 all over alpha
X
x ne?
-1
-1,
-2.
and then it says -2 equals 2. Ne? And then we can start anywhere. Ne? So usually we can start, yeah, let's start at -5. We can say start at -5. -5. And then we can end at 5. Ne? Step it's 1. And then you have -5, which goes with, I think it's 2,5. Ne?
So
-5 and 2,5, yeah. Anyone assist me there who was going with me there? -2, it's -5, -2,5. And then -4,
it's -2,6.
-2,6.
Mm.
-3,
-2,7.
-2,7. -2, -2 is -3. Ne?
Yes.
So it's here.
Mm.
-1,
-1 is
-3,5. So it's here.
Mm.
And then the other one is 0.
Yes.
So we can connect these dots.
Yes.
This now it gives us exactly the shape that we are supposed to have. So it's dot number 1, dot number 2, dot number 3. And then after that it says error. So you simply say it's approaching this side, and then it's approaching this side. Then from there onwards you have your error. 0 is -5, and then you have 1 is its error.
Mm.
And then you have 2, it's 1. 2, it goes with 1. And then we have 3, which goes with -0,5. No? So 3 is 0,5. Yeah. You got it?
No.
No.
Okay, 4 it's -1. 4 is -1. Okay.
Yes.
5 it's 1,
Amazing.
1,25. Yeah, so it's somewhere here. So you can also connect these 3 dots to 1, and I'm also including the blue one. Can you see that?
Yes.
Because my graph needs to pass there. And then let's check how do they mark you here. They mark you for the shape of the graph. No? First check the graph. But if the shape is interfering with the asymptote, you lose a mark. So we'll give you 1 mark for the shape. We're also going to give you a mark for the asymptotes, both of them. And we're also going to give you a mark for the x and the y intercept. But your graph is passing exactly at -5 and 2,5. Then you're going to get your 3 marks there.
Plus 4.
Plus
3.
It's 3, yeah. It's the shape. And then we go to 4.5. On 4.5, they say which we should determine the range.
Write down, not determine.
Write down the, yeah. So we're giving them the range.
Yes.
So we write down the range of y is equaling to -f of x.
Yes.
So let's start with the range of this one, which is the original function. And then whatever it is, we're going to take it and make it negative because it's a reflection. So the safest thing for us to do is to say, okay, what is the range of this one? We can use, remember for the range, we need to use the horizontal line. So you can take out your ruler there on your exam there and tell them, which, okay, I want to get the range of this thing. Is it okay? Insert. It's like this, huh?
Y is greater than 2.
So the first thing that you touch here, it's negative infinity.
Yes.
And then up until you touch also the asymptote. Up until you get to positive infinity. So you're going to say y is an element of all the real numbers, but y cannot be this thing here, which is -2.
Yes.
So it can be anything, but here you are not touching any part of the graph.
Yes.
But it's from negative infinity up until positive infinity. Okay. Now, with this one is the original one. So according to the original one, you're going to tell them which y. This is for f. Let's do this. This is for f. Y is an element of all the real numbers. but y cannot be minus 2. Ne? Then for negative f, so this one is for negative f. Ne? You're going to do exactly the same thing, except you're going to tell them which y is an element of all the real numbers, but y cannot be 2. Instead of, agree, this one was negative here. If you say negative multiplied by negative 2, then you're going to have what? Positive 2. So the one that we are looking for, Tina, here is the one, yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is the difference between integers and real numbers?
What is the difference between
Integers and real numbers.
integers and real numbers? Real numbers, integers, they are part of real numbers.
How?
So real numbers, it's broad, it's including everything that you are going to, in fact, the simplest way to think about it is like everything that you type on your calculator and then gives you defined, we consider it to be a real numbers. Rational, irrational, all of them, they are real.
Okay.
That, remember, integers, we're just talking about part of the real numbers.
So-
Irrational numbers, they are not integers.
Okay.
Like
Integers are sort of whole numbers, but
yeah,
from
positive,
negative until negative.
negative and positive.
So Mr.
Excluding above 1 comma something, above minus, yeah.
Oh.
So imaginary numbers are not that into real numbers.
No, they are not. You see those ones, they are imaginary. I mean, you are correct.
Mm.
So, square root of negative. You want a square root of
Imaginary
negative.
number.
If we speak about the square root of negative, then we are
So
talking-
imaginary numbers are going missed.
Hmm?
But there's just a grade 12. Or
Im-
anything. Imaginary numbers.
imaginary numbers, we usually deal with them at university. It is this thing of I. You see a
Yes,
number is going
yes.
to have 2 I, something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, you can deal with something like that. So yeah, we just have to be careful. You agree they know which you can get the range, right?
Mm.
So they can be tricky and ask us to get a range transformed. 4.6, they say describe in words the transformation that took place so that we have something like this.
Yes.
So let's check what do we have. We have f of x,
That's reflected by
which is given by, let's start with f of x, and then we are just going to compare what is the difference between the two.
3
So it's 3
all over x
all
minus
over x minus 1
1 minus 2.
minus 2.
Yes.
So what is the difference between these two here? You can see there's a negative here on top.
Yes.
That's the first difference that we identify. This one, and this one, nothing has, like, they're exactly the same. Nothing has happened. It means they didn't do anything there. You know? And then remember the ways that we can use it's shifted, or we can use reflected. Ne? So those are the ways that we can use. So if we look at, we are going to check x and then we're also going to check y. Ne? Now, if they did shift it with y, this one is also supposed to change. Let's say it was reflected by the y, the x-axis. I'm sure if we reflect it by the x-axis, the y is going to be negative. Ne?
Yes.
It's going to affect even this 2 here, but we can see the 2 is already positive.
Yeah.
So nothing has happened to the 2. So the other reflection that we can try then, what other reflection do we have? We can make this one to be negative, and then we're reflecting it by the y-axis. If we reflect this one by the y-axis,
So Mr. Negative only affects x, doesn't affect the asymptotes.
with this one.
If we reflect it by the y-axis.
Yeah, I agree. We say you're gonna this is x. This is a place whereby there's x, and where there's x, you are going to change this x, and then you're going to put negative x. That's the only thing that you're doing. Just like here, I agree. This one is y. You want where there's y, you're going to put a negative. It's just going to why is this whole thing here? That is why we put a negative outside. Then it affects this person, and it also
Also,
affects
it
this
only
person.
affects the eggs, I guess.
Yeah, it only affects the x. Okay, so we said here, let's fix it, because that's the other thing that I think we said x minus 1. So we're going to change this person.
Yes.
If we change this person, the person is going to become minus x, because we are reflecting it by
The y-axis.
the y-axis. So we have minus x,
Yes.
and then it still doesn't look like this one.
Yes.
How can it look like that one? If we take out a negative as a common
Totally.
factor,
Yes.
so we have 3 all over minus open bracket. We have x plus 1 minus 2. And then agree negative, whether it's positive is up on the numerator, on the denominator, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
So we can write this thing as minus 3 all over x plus 1 minus 2. So the only thing here, because it's 2 marks here, it means it was reflected
By the y-axis.
by the y-axis. Now, there was an argument here to say,
Yeah.
but I said, what if I said, I said something like it was shifted, I
To
think
the
it was
left. To the left.
it was who spoke about it was shifted 4 units up, and then she reflected by the y-axis,
Mhm.
and then after reflecting it by the y-axis, and it changed this one, and then also changed that one.
Yes, and then
And then after that, she said this one was shifted 1 unit.
y-axis.
Yeah, and then when I inquired, they said no, it's not correct, because you see here, if they wanted to shift it by the x-axis, this one was also supposed to change. If this one is it's remaining the same, the correct way to do it is that you should check did this one change. If this one didn't change, it means the y-axis was not affected. So there was no shift of up and down.
Mister,
Yeah.
the whole numbers are from 0, or 0 is not included as a whole number.
Also, can I finish this one and then we'll check.
Why not done?
We have question 5. We still have question 1. Remember, we skipped question 1 because we said we could have gotten almost 11 marks
Yes.
without the need of question 1, because sometimes what happens with you is like question 1 is difficult and then you stop there. You find which is challenging and then you no longer proceed anymore. So what I'm trying to show you here is that we could have proceeded and done everything except come back to this one, which is 4 marks, which is a high order question when you think about it, because it's not something that we are used to. So we had this one. So we are supposed to change that one. It's 4.1. It says we have f of x, which is going to be equal to minus 2x plus 5, and then it's x minus 1. So Mina, the way I usually say it is that we have an x which is negative. We have an x which is what? Which is positive. So I'm going to change this one here and make it to be positive. Instead of making it to be plus 1, I'm going to make it to be what? To be positive 1. But because of here I have 2, it means I'm going to change it to be plus 2. So I'm going to have something like this, minus 2x plus 2. And then there's a value that I can add here, which is going to give me 5. And then that value is going to be what? To be plus 3. All over x minus 1. And then from there onwards, it's a matter of you choosing which this one can be written with this one. So this person can be written together, these two. If I write those two, they are going to give me something like minus 2x plus 2 all over x minus 1. And then the other way I can also write it is to write it this way. I extended it too much. No? I'm going to write it with, I'm also going to write it this way. It's 3 plus 3 all over this one. And then this is going to be written as plus 3 all over x minus 1. So they will give me a mark for changing this thing. And then from there onwards, I am going to tell them, I'm continuing here, going to take out minus 2 as a common factor. If I take out minus 2 as a common factor, I'm going to be left with x minus 1 all over x minus 1. So they will give me a mark for taking out a common factor. Plus 3 all over x minus 1. And then from the onwards, you can see that x minus 1 and x minus 1, they're going to divide each other out. So I'm left with 3 all over x minus 1 minus 2. And then this is going to be my final answer, which was 4 marks. Any questions there, guys?